guys, Dave from Timber Time Outdoors. Welcome to the channel, everybody. In this video, we're going to talk about the Tiger. Stay with us. All right, guys, let's get right to it. We're going to do three things in this video. First, we're going to do a quick walk around. As we walk around it, I'm going to talk about my likes and dislikes. And then we're going to do kind of a moto vlog, and during that moto vlog I'm going to tell you two more things. All right, first we're going to talk about who this bike is for, how it does on the road, and then lastly we're going to talk about how it does off-road. So let's go. All right, let's do this walk around, and we'll start off with the things I don't like. There's only a couple of them. All right, so if you've watched other videos about the Tiger, you know about the radiator and these little fans, and they tend to blow a lot of heat right on your leg. You can kind of like stick your leg out into the wind to get away from the heat, but it's pretty significant depending on what kind of pants you have on and how cold it is or how hot it is. So that is annoying. I know they fixed that on the new bikes, so some little deflector shield, but on this one, this is a 2023, I don't like that. And the second thing is on the dash here, and it's not what you think. A lot of people complain about the tachometer. So I gotta turn this on. I don't mind the tachometer so much. Turn the wheel a little bit. It's, you know, it's different, but it gets the job done. You know, most of the time I don't really worry about the tachometer. I just go by sound anyways, but I want to show you this on the screen here. So I just did my first oil change myself. I like to change my own oil. And that right there and that right there have to be turned off by the dealer. And that is super, super annoying. So that's the only two things I don't like about the bike. You know, it's a great motorcycle. So let's just get into the things I do like. First of all, I love the front end of this thing. I think it has a great little face. The windscreen does a good job. Oh, I guess this would be a dislike. So in the first 50 miles, I broke the hand guards that come with it. So I ended up buying bark busters, so kind of plan on that. You know, you're going to tip these bikes over if you go off-road, and I tipped it over twice already. I'll talk about that a little later, but yeah, broke these right away. I added the crash bars because I'm not a very good rider and tipped them right over. Awesome Brembo brakes. Got the show-off shocks. I love the spoked wheels. This is the Rally Pro. Let's see, what else can I tell you? I just think it looks good. You know, I'm a fan of the white and gray. It's real simple looking. And exhaust is fine. No comments there, really. And as we go around this way, I'm going to get to my favorite feature. It's this right here. The quick shifter on this thing is amazing. I love it. I also love this right here. So, you know, the center stand is really handy for certain things, especially when I want to just clean the bike or work on the chain. Yeah, I mean, that's really it as far as likes and dislikes. It's a fantastic motorcycle. So let's get into the moto vlog here, and we'll talk about, you know, how this thing does on the road and who this bike is for. I forgot to mention what the scenery is that you're going to be seeing during this vlog. So I was blessed to be able to ride Highway 550, which is also known as the $1 Million Highway, in Ouray, Colorado. Goes from Ouray to Silverton. So that's the road portion of this. And then the off-road portion of it is kind of an offshoot from the $1 Million Highway. And I didn't quite make it to the top, but it is called Ophir Pass. All right, first off, who is this bike for? Well, this is kind of an in-betweener bike, okay? So when you talk ADV bikes, there's 8 million choices out there, by the way, but there's kind of three categories. You've got the really big bikes that are kind of designed to just eat up the highway. You know, they're usually 1200 cc's. You know, BMW is the one everybody knows. Harley Davidson just came out with one. Triumph's got a 1200. They're big. They're really tall. And I would say this motorcycle is significantly smaller. And so when I talk about who is this bike for, I'm 5'7". This bike is for the smaller rider, okay? Those great big bikes, you know, the little guys and gals, you can ride those, but they're kind of intimidating. You're certainly not going to do any off-roading with those. They're too top heavy, they're too big. So, you know, I'm 5'7", so I wanted a bike that fit me. I wanted something lighter, and I wanted something that I could do light off-roading. And this bike really fits that bill. So hopefully that helps you now. If you're a serious off-roader, you're probably going to get something smaller. You know, the Yamaha Tenere 700 or 750, whatever that thing is I see just a million of those out here. Those are pretty serious riders. And then there's a lot of even smaller bikes. I think Honda has a Transalp as well. You know, those bikes are going to be kind of featured down, but they're going to be very easy to handle on the off-road. And again, so this bike is kind of, can do the road and it can do the off-road, but it doesn't really do the extremes of either one of those. So it's not a mile eater on the pavement, and you're not going to, you know, take this thing in some serious black diamond off-roading unless you have skills beyond most people. So that's who this bike is for. Next, we are going to talk about, you know, how does it do on the road? And, you know, I talked about my likes. One of my favorite features about this thing is that it's just super easy to drive. I don't know how else to describe that to you folks. It's, you know, you hear the word flicky. This bike is flicky. Like, you get on it, it just goes down the road. It can handle the twisties. It can handle the straightaways. It'll cruise at 70 miles an hour, 75 miles an hour without any trouble. There's people that kind of complain about it gets a little buzzy. Yeah, maybe at about 80 it gets buzzy. But just cruising down the highway, it's fantastic. This is good for about an hour. You know, anything more than an hour, your butt starts to hurt. You start to feel a little fatigue. And that's where those great big bikes are going to allow you to go longer and faster. This one's, again, good on the road up to about an hour. And I just really like it in the twisties. So I got rid of my Harley Davidson, very heavy motorcycle, like 900 some pounds. This one is like 450, 460. And it's just, again, super easy to drive on the blacktop. Okay, now we're going to talk about off-roading and my experience with it. So I need to give you a little context first. So everybody's skills are different. Everybody's experience with motorcycles is different. I need to tell you mine so you understand my point of view for this motorcycle, okay? So I've been a Harley Davidson guy. I don't have any off-roading experience other than my mountain bike. And, you know, I'm not a dirt bike kid. I didn't grow up with dirt bikes. I'm learning with this motorcycle. And so hopefully that helps you. You know, if I was a guy with serious off-road skills, I may have a different opinion of this motorcycle. So I'm learning with this motorcycle, and I've taken it off-road. I crashed it twice almost immediately. It was super hard to pick up. You know, the tires on this bike are really meant for the pavement or gravel. You know, if you're going to go off-road, you really need knobby tires. I don't have those on here yet. Not even sure I'm going to put them on because I've kind of maybe reached my plateau as far as my off-roading capability. I love gravel. This bike loves gravel. It'll go fast on gravel. It feels super confident in steering. It's planted. It loves gravel. Where I get scared on this motorcycle is when you start to get into any kind of loose sand, any mud, any wetness, rocks. You know, I feel like when you're in those types of more advanced terrains, you don't want a 460-pound motorcycle. I know all the commercials show this thing jumping and doing all that stuff, but let's be honest, for average Joe rider, it's kind of hard to ride this motorcycle off-road. It's great on gravel roads, and there is a ton of gravel roads that'll take you to some amazing places. But as soon as those roads get unmaintained and they start to deteriorate and you get rocks and loose materials, this bike starts to struggle. Now, if it had knobby tires, it might be a little bit better, but this one doesn't. So hopefully that helps you a little bit with how this performs off-road with my skill set. Okay, hopefully you learned a little bit about this particular Tiger 900. I love it. I nailed it. I picked the right motorcycle for me. Is this motorcycle right for you? You're going to have to be the judge. That's going to depend on how big you are, what you're going to use it for mainly. You know, are you going to be a guy who's a road warrior and run 600 miles a day? This bike might not be for you. If you're going to go, you know, jumping and do some serious off-road, this bike might not be for you. But if you want a fun, easy to drive ADV bike that can get you on some gravel roads and see some cool places, this bike is definitely for you. It's got a ton of power. It is super flicky. It is super fun to drive. All right, guys, we're going to wrap this video up. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and send it to your friends. And remember, everybody, keep it in the timber. Bye-bye.